Alright guys, welcome to the video. I'm going to show you guys how to quickly set up your own virtual network on your virtual machines. Now obviously in order to be able to do this you will need some sort of virtual machine software. I'm running VirtualBox and I have the ISO, I have a Windows 10 and a operating system and the Kali machine operating system. So we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and open up my VMs and I'll go ahead and show you guys my current addresses, IP addresses of the current machines. So here, as you can see, the current address is 192.168.20.10 for my Windows virtual machine. And for my Kali machine, that will be, let's see, let me zoom in. We don't want to do that. All right, go ahead and go IP show address. The current address here for my Kali virtual machine is the 192.168.20.11. Now these are custom. These are my custom addresses on the integrated network. Now let's go ahead and see here. All right, so we have both the IP addresses available here, and they're able to interact with each other. Go ahead, just so you know, just so we can go ahead and see them both have a network connection. They could communicate with each other. So I'm going to do that. That's pinging, and they're both on internal networks with their own private IP as a virtual machine. As you see, the Windows and the Kali machine, they're able to communicate with each other. All right, perfect. All right, so we've gone ahead and done that. Now, here's how we'll be able to create our networks. Now, if you have here we go, you would just go back to the actual VirtualBox manager, and what you want to do is you want to go to tools. Now, I personally already have it here. And what you want to do is you'll have a virtual host only Ethernet adapter. That'll be your original. But number two, you'll want to create another host only Ethernet adapter. So basically, let's go ahead. I'll do this as if. All right, so it's gone ahead and it's created that new adapter. Now, as you can see, if this is your first time doing it, it will be marked as number 2, but this is my second time doing this process, showing people. So number 3. So number 2 for you if it's your first time, but for me, number 3 because I'm resetting. I'm just doing this in order. So number 3, we created that host only Ethernet adapter. And currently what we want to do is it has its own IPv4 Internet Protocol 4 address. We're going to go to Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol server and enable it. Once you come here, we will just want to go to the server address. And let's say we just want to make that 100. We'll go to lower and upper and make them both 100 as well. And if you don't know, there are different levels, A, B, and C, to Internet protocols. Level A, it will start with a 1.0, basically 10. Level B, it will start with a 128 point, but level C, as you see, will start with a 192. And we're putting 100 because 100 is a private IP network, private internet protocols. All right, so once we have our server address right here saved, we insert it to 100, you'll just click apply. And then we'll go to adapter, and we want to configure adapter automatically and apply it. Just click yes. All right, and once we have that, we're pretty much done for that portion. Now you want to go to your virtual machines. So first, I'm gonna go to my Windows machine and go to the settings. But first, I'll have to stop the current process from running if I want to change any network operations on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and close them out. And now what we could do is go to settings and change their network. All right, so again, like I said, I was running internal network because I was having the IP address of my virtual machines be connected to my host machine so they have internet access. That would be NAT. Internal network is I wanted them to have their own private networks. But what we're going to do is, again, make our own virtual network. So what we're going to do is when you come here on the virtual machine, you will go to the settings. Then you go down here, you'll have a selection. You go straight to network. You'll have adapter 1 will be automatically listed because that's the automatic either bridge, NAT, internal network, host network. If you're already using one, select it. What you want to do is unclick that, unclick enable, go to adapter 2, enable it, and you want your selection to be host only adapter. And after that, you want to click the virtual name, the virtual machine box name Ethernet adapter that we created. Again, I created number 3. For you guys, it'll be number 2 if it's your first time, but me, I'll click number 3. And then you want to make sure cable is connected. Again, make sure the first network or any other networks aren't selected. You just want one enabled. Then we're going to click OK. Now we pretty much have finished that for our Windows virtual machine. Now we can go ahead and do it to our Kali machine. It's pretty much the same process. You go to settings, go to networks, make sure that the first one that's already enabled isn't enabled anymore. Go to the second one, enable, make sure you're on the host only adapter. Make sure you select the name of the Ethernet adapter you just created. Cable connected, again, double check everything, make sure no other adapters are enabled, and click OK. Now that is pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and run up both my virtual machines and we could check the IP addresses of them both to make sure that they change accordingly to what you created them as for your second adapter that we just enabled. And some other things we're going to go over and show with the Ethernet. If you're having any issues, we'll go over that as well quite briefly. Because you may run into some things that may cause your IP address to not change, which I'm pretty sure I will have somewhat of an issue with because of my settings. But we'll go over and check that once these machines boot up. All right, so I'll go ahead and when you open your machines back, we'll start with the Kali first. We'll go to terminal and then we could go it's probably wrong. Pretty sure that's where yeah. Yep, IP address. So now again, this is where the issue I was talking about. Here you can either go IF config or IP address show for the Kali machine. And as you see here, the address didn't change. And that can be an issue. Let me go ahead and check the IF config to double check. And yep, the address did not change. If you're having that issue and you did all these steps, what you need to do is go to edit connections, go to wire connection or whatever connection you may have, go to IPv4 settings. What you want to do is strictly, instead of manual, you want to go to automatic dynamic host configuration protocol. You want to delete whatever address you have here, and then you want to save it. And now we'll double check that. make sure everything's changed. Yep. Now we want to go ahead and check again. And that's still the same issue. Let's make sure we actually might just have to delete it entire. No, internet protocol, automatic, chemicals configuration protocol. Yeah. Save. All right, now let's test. Delete. Now we have to add a machine. Add a network. Ethernet. Okay, save it. Yep, Ethernet 1. All right, there we are. Now we're able to have it. So what you need to do is, if you're having issues like I did, it was showing your old IP address, you would just need to go to Edit Connections, delete the old IP address, or delete the old connection, and you will just need to create a new one, as I just did here with the Ethernet connection one, and just leave it, make no changes, except for leave the method as dynamic host configuration protocol for the IPv4. And as you saw, again, my IP address is now updated to the current one. Let me go ahead and double check. Yep, and as you can see, the new address has been set. So now that's our first virtual network. Now let's go ahead and check the one on our Windows machine. And again, that's one issue you could run into in the Kali machine. What you would need to do again is delete the wire, your previous connection that had your previous IP, and then just create a new one. Dynamic host protocol. It creates a random IP address for your machine. Now let's go here, and here it magic. The Windows machine set our IP address already. It's already preset to the new one, the 3. Now, what we can do, we're pretty much done. That's it. You've created your virtual network or Windows machine, so they're able to communicate with each other. And that is pretty much it for this video. That's how you can create your virtual machines. Now I'm going to show you guys how to set it back, put your machines back to the original IPs they had. It's not difficult. Again, you would just come off the page, power down, and do everything in the reverse order. So I'll go ahead and do that for you guys real fast. So Kali machine, network, adapter, don't enable that one, enable the original one, click OK. Same for the Windows virtual machine. Go to network, enable the first, the original. Again, internal network, if you just want your machines to communicate with each other on their own internal network, or NAT, if you have to access the internet, then you just use your host. You can use the host machine address in your virtual machine, so you actually have internet access to your, the website, Google web pages, browsers, etc. But your virtual machines will again have their own IP addresses still. It won't be exactly the same as your host machine. But again, I was using internal networks. I was just working on projects between my both my virtual machines. Again, enable the original, disable the second adapter. Make sure that's all good to go. Click OK and start it. And I'll just show the windows, because if the windows have, well, I'll show both actually because they're kind of different. They're a little different. I'll open Kali in its own separate. But we'll look at Windows first. All right, we're on Windows. And also, there's a way to change your IP address, use a different IP address in your specific window, virtual machine, or a host. So you're not just stuck with using the original IP address. You could create your own specific one. And the original addresses that you see on my virtual machines, I made those. The 20.2 and 20.10 and 20.11 are ones I personally created for my virtual machines to work with. But I'll make a separate video on how to do that as well. But let's go ahead and make sure that our IP addresses have returned to their original state. I've gotta increase this window. And as you see, our Internet Protocol version 4 address has returned to the 20.10. So we know our Windows machine is good. Now the only thing left to test will be my Kali machine. All right, let's go in and check. Oh, let's get the mix up. And we're not seeing an IP address. You want to know why? Because we deleted the original. So what we can do is just come here, go to IP version 4, and this, you want to go to manual. Now, this is where I said you could create your own internet protocol inside the virtual machine specifically. Here's how we do it. Address, as you saw, we just put in my original address was 192.168.20.11 for the Kali virtual machine. Net mask was 24, gateway is 5. Now, all we got to do is require word addressing for this complete, save, exit, and now let's check it. Nope, there's still an issue. Let me make sure I did everything correctly. Daniel. Okay. Let me make sure everything is correct. Okay. There we are. Now we should be good to go. We have the Ethernet connection that it's now active. So now when we put in, let me go ahead and clear IP address show. Now we have our original IP address that we started with in the video. So that's how you could set up your own virtual networks. That's how, in Kali at least, you could create your own IP addresses internally. And that's the video. I hope you guys liked the video, and there'll be more soon. Take it easy. Peace.